Freddie Mercury gave me my first line of cocaine. So I DJ'd for Prince, and one night we went to Paradise Garage with Diana Ross. I remember I was in a phone box up here doing coke. It's the first place I ever smoked crack. I was there every night. I was in the VIP room. People were just giving me cocaine because they wanted to get into that room.
So if you want something to really brighten up your day, check out DJ Fat Tony's Instagram account. Certainly makes me laugh. You wondering how we ever got together?
Look. Oh, are you? Do you remember when you used to live here?
I do remember.
From those years ago before you got sent to Peckham. Where are you from?
I don't live in fucking Peckham, I live in Pimlico.
Pimlico, it's somewhere south.
I used to just turn the music up and demand drugs. I used to like literally turn the music up and say, no K, no play, and people would bring me ketamine. And I kind of like got to this psychosis state where my mouth was on fire, and I kind of thought I had animals living in my mouth. I would think, oh, I know, I'll get a pair of pliers, and I would get pliers and pull them.
You know, everybody seems to have this idea that if you hang out with the stars, your life is absolutely perfect. But DJ Fat Tony is someone who has been to hell and back. And one of the things we bonded over was getting in touch with your mental health. So, live on Instagram, you got to catch up with this. DJ Fat Tony.
Oh, darling.
Trisha, make some noise. Trisha in the house.
Whoa.
Rest in peace. You good?
All right. So, Tony, first thing everybody wants to know is how we even know each other and how we met. I can't remember.
I'll tell you, you stalked me on Instagram like you do now. And then I was in New York and I messaged you and I said, let's meet for lunch.
Oh, that's right.
And then we met in Bryant Park. And it was Bryant Park, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Bryant.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. Yeah, in the summer.
Yeah, one of those parts. And you were over the other side and you kept messaging me because you'd gone to the wrong side. And then I'd never met you before, and you came towards me and I did what, make some noise, Trisha in the house, like that. Here we go. And that's what that was it. That's how we met.
Yeah, but we kind of, one of the things that we've got in common is mental health as well as mad humour. Mind you, you give me the lines. I just, what is this like?
I'm wearing headphones because I can hear you, Barry, because it's really annoying. My phone, my phone's just really annoying at the moment. So that's why I've got headphones on. All
right, no, you look cool. Well, you're used to wearing headphones anyway. Story of your life. So, somebody's like the randomness of my stalking.
I know you're stalking. It's really funny. I get about 5 or 6 messages every day going, what is wrong with Trisha Goddard? like she's obsessed, and I'm like, I always like message back saying I love her. People are like, she drives me mad. She's not even funny. It's really funny. They don't get like your humour. It's kind of like, I think it's funny.
Yeah, we get. I mean, that's one of the things we click because we do get each other's mad humour. Okay, look. So I want to talk about Tony the bloke. How old are you? Are you 54 now?
I'm 54 now, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to work it out the other day. I actually thought I was 53, but I'm actually 54, yeah.
You forgot your birthday. So going back to you as a little kid, who was like 5-year-old Tony?
Very needy, very young. Because I come from a family where I had an elder brother who was always in trouble with the police.
Right.
So he got all the attention.
Right.
And then I had a younger brother who was 4 years younger than me. That was like the apple of my dad's eye.
Right.
So for me to get attention, I had to, I was the middle son. And it was like, the older brother was getting all the attention because of the police. My younger brother was getting all the attention. So I had to fight for attention. So I would do like really dramatic things like stab the sofa, set fire to the house, like really stupid things. It's like real dramatic things. And then what happened was I had a collapsed lung. and
wow.
about 5 years old. We were living in Wandsworth at the time.
Yeah.
Above a place called the Arndale Centre. And I remember going in there as a sweet shop and I choked on the bowl of sweet and I remember being in hospital and the attention that I got from being ill. Yeah, of course. So, of course, when you get that amount of attention all of a sudden, don't get me wrong, my parents weren't bad. It was just always something going on. And so I got suddenly was getting all this attention in hospital. And then from that, it just stemmed into like, okay, I was ill all the time. Like literally making up illnesses. Yeah.
What were you like at school?
Primary school, I was teacher's pet. Secondary school, I kind of just, too much had happened to me to be focusing on school. I'd gone through like abuse, childhood abuse and like sexual abuse. And so
was that by the time the family though? Was the sexual abuse?
No, it wasn't from the family. It was from,
outside.
It was from the outside of the family. It was a guy that I worked for on Saturday afternoons showing movies in youth clubs, believe it or not. And so that kind of just changed the whole game plan and how I was and everything.
How did you change from being...
It sexualised me. It sexualised me. And what it did do, it took away my youth. It took away my innocence. It took away everything that a child should not have taken away.
Did you get angry? Did you get angry?
No, I don't think I got angry. What I did do was kind of just, I kind of embraced, like, kind of took it on and thought, okay, right, well, this is the way I'm being treated. I kind of was too young to understand the meaning of what was going on, but I knew it was wrong. But at the same time, I kind of just got on with it. Do you get what I mean? It was kind of really weird. Because, it was sex and, I've always been an addict. So you introduce someone that changes the way they feel. It kind of just changes everything.
An addict?
What, David? Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say, were you an addict before that? Do you think you had an addictive kind of personality?
Oh, 100%. When I was throwing myself downstairs and going to hospital all the time, that was addiction. That was
addiction to the attention.
Yeah, of course. I come from a long line of addiction. There's addiction right the way through my family on my dad's side. So I kind of it just was always there. And, it was just awful. And
did you tell anyone about the abuse ever? Or
No, never. Not until I was about 26.
Oh, God.
Actually, tonight, I actually mentioned it. I told a friend in Ibiza when I was about 17. I told her, my friend Gabby, I actually opened up to her about it. Because for me, I turned it around. Suddenly I was in a position where I could control people. It was really weird. I could control, through sex and stuff like that. So it kind of just changed everything. And so by the time I got to school, when I went to secondary school, I had a long perm hair, and I remember them all calling me Sally on my first 2 days at school. And I thought, you're not going to get away with this. And so I kind of was always out anyway. I never ever got to that point where I had to come out. I was always out. Yeah. And school for me was just like trouble. I just caused trouble the whole time I was there.
What, to get attention again, or?
Well, yeah, and also it was just the whole rebelling thing. Do you get what I mean? I kind of just, by that point, I just thought I'm not allow anyone to control me again or hurt me. And that come from the abuse. And I kind of just was a school rebel, and I found that the hardest group of girls in the school and hung out with them.
Yeah.
And just I was kicked out of school at 14.
How old were you when you tried your first drug?
I was 17. Oh, alcohol. I was about, with alcohol, I think it was about 15 with alcohol,
Yeah, and then actual drugs?
First time I ever took cocaine was when I was 17. 16, 17.
But why and how? Was it just something?
I was outside. It's quite. I've talked about it quite a lot recently. It's in the film. Yeah. I was outside the Club Heaven, and I'd been outside there all night, pinned to the wall. I was scared to go in, and a group of guys walked by. One of them happened to be Freddie Mercury, and they said to me, "Oh, do you want to come in? Come in with us." And you look scared, so I went in with them, hung out with them, and then went to that after party. And then someone said, "Oh, do you want to do a line of this?" And I was like, "No, I don't really do drugs." And then, of course, I did it. Yeah. And that was it. That was kind of, that wasn't the start of the addiction. That was the first time I did drugs. You know, for me,
was it something? Well, something to hide against?
It changed the way I felt. You know, it changed who I was. So I would drink or I would take drugs to change the way I was feeling, because you know I always felt less than. I always felt, you know, addicted. You know, my mental state. Yeah, at that point, no, I just got over the fat bit. So I got fat from the age of 12 to 16.
Was that again
17?
Eating addiction?
Yeah. Well, no, what it was just like a way of saying to people, don't ever come near me. I don't want you near me. It was a shield.
Yeah.
You know, I got fat as protection. It was, you know, it was a subconscious thing. It wasn't something that I thought, right, I'm going to get fat.
Yeah.
You know, subconsciously I got fat. And by the time I got 16, 17, I'd gone into this next chapter of my life where I'd been kicked out of school. I was down working in the King's Road. And what I did was I just changed everything. So the next chapter, I lost all the weight really quickly.
You could write your story.
Yeah. And so, you know, I suddenly found new friends that believed in me, and I started to believe in myself. And then I started to lose the weight, and that was it. But the name stuck.
And drugs came along.
Alcohol came along first. I was always the one that drank the pints of snakebite in the Chelsea Pottery in King's Road. I was always the last one to leave. I was always the one that said, let's go on, let's go on, let's go on, let's go out.
Were you scared of being on your own? Did you prefer to have people around you rather than...
I've always... I mean, listen, I love my own company, but I've always had people around me, always. You know, my friend George always says to me, you know, at one point, you had to go through 6 people to get to you, just to have, like, you know, to hang out with you, because I always surround myself. I don't think it's a conscious thing. I think it's subconsciously. I always have people around me.
Yeah.
Because I like to entertain. You know, I like
the
attention.
Entertainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so you go from this, once you get into drugs, and that's been really...
Hi, Dennis. You're gone.
That's been pretty well documented, that whole thing, the whole, you know, to the point where you're pulling your teeth out.
Yeah.
What I was interested in, you got to that stage when you were, down to about 7 stone, and you looked like...
Yeah, I weighed about 7 just under 7 stone at one point. Yeah.
How old were you
And I'm 6'1". Then I was... so I used drugs every day for like 28 years, and it was like the last 3 years of my using that I was like, I weighed about, at my best at that point, I weighed probably about 9 stone, 10 stone. And then I lost the last year and a half as I went into yet another chapter of a different type of drug. I lost all my weight and I went psychotic.
Was that meth?
Yeah. So a friend of mine was bringing it over from America, and I always was like, you know, I don't need to do that. I had my drug of choice, which was any drug, basically.
Anything you could get your hand on.
Well, you know, I had morals. I never ever did smack. I would always say to my friends, no, I don't do smack. You know.
Was there like a hierarchy of those?
Yeah, of course there was.
Yeah,
in London, I mean, in the 80s, heroin had a real grip on London nightlife.
It did.
Everyone was doing it, and I kind of was always the upper. I didn't like that. I didn't like the look of what it was doing to my friends. So I was always the one that did the coke, because believe it or not, coke prolonged everything, but the alcohol kind of, I was always ride it, you know, cocaine and alcohol.
Yeah.
All my friends were on heroin, and it was destroying them. But, you know, of course, so I was doing cocaine, which wasn't destroying me, of course. It was making me better. Of course. You know,
but
mentally.
You know, when you were saying with the way you looked, like when you went down to like 7 stone or something, you're 6 foot. You thought you looked beautiful, though. You thought you looked pretty.
Well, great. I thought I looked amazing. I would spray myself orange. I would go to the pound shop and get this like spray tan in a can, and I would spray myself, thinking that no one would notice I'm a junkie. I had great cheekbones. At one point, I could put my hands around my waist, and I'd be like, look my waist. Yeah, completely insane. But I actually, you know, mentally, I kind of just thought that I looked all right. I thought I was fine. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever go through those periods of withdrawals and the shakes and not being able to get hold of drugs?
No, because cocaine doesn't have that. You don't have that that dependency. It's you don't have the physical dependency with cocaine.
Psychological.
It's a mental physical. It's a mental dependency. With the meth, yeah, it was awful. But you know what? I wasn't doing it every day. I was doing it like literally towards the end. I kind of was doing it 3-4 days a week. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it was very, very short-lived now.
You probably hit quite a lot of low points. But just to tell people, I'm talking to DJ Fat Tony here. What are some of the lower points you can bloody remember?
I mean, there was just so many. You know, I would be homeless. I would lose houses. I would leave the house with, you know, I at one point, you know, in the mid-90s, I had a house just off of Russell Square in London, right in the centre of London. It was on Queen Square, right by Great Ormond Street Hospital, Bloomsbury. And it was like a dream house. We went for a house, and it was a cottage in the back garden, and it was mine. And I had all of that, and I just lost it all. And then I was made homeless again. And I would leave those places with just a mirror, because I lived in this world where I could earn so much money it was like a throwaway world.
So and, did you ever save it, or was it money in, money out?
Are you mad, you know? Do you know what I mean? However much money I earned, I would spend constantly on just being Tony. It was awful. You know, and I mean, I used to get to the point where I used to think I was my most happiest when I couldn't afford a packet of cigarettes. Because you know why? For me, I knew that I'd be able to sleep. I knew that I could stop at that point.
Yeah, because you didn't have any
money. That would be usually a Tuesday night or a Wednesday. And then Thursday would start again, because I'd be working again.
Now,
and,
I'd be paid, when you're off your face like that, where did the music come into? Was it a way to...
Well, you know, the music was a way, a means to make more and make money. So for me, DJing, you know, music's always been my passion.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's suddenly become a tool. Music, DJing, I created this, like, I used to say to people, you know, it's chemical scaffolding. People go, how come you're still up? And I'd be like, chemical scaffolding. And I made you know, the sad thing was I completely made my career about drugs. People were paying me because they knew I was a mess. I was a car crash. And I used to seriously believe that I DJ best when I hadn't slept for 3 days.
Really? How long? Yeah. What was the longest you stayed up without sleeping?
Oh, 5 days, I think. It was awful. But by that point, I was hallucinating. I would eat, I would eat junk, you know. There was a period when I was a vegan. But the only reason I was a vegan was because I wasn't eating. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it was always an excuse. I had an excuse for everything.
Yeah. What was the point? What was the turning point?
The turning point was I was in a nightclub called The Cross in King's Cross, and my partner at the time came in, and for months and months and months and months before that, he would go to the venues I worked at and say, "Look, you're going to find him dead on the floor. Is this what you want? You're going to have blood in your hands." And I would say, "Bar him. He's just, you know, bar him. He's come here to cause trouble." And all he was doing was trying to save my life.
Yeah.
And this one night, I was in the Cross and I was rocking backwards and forwards, pulling at the one tooth that I'd left, because I literally pulled all of them out with screwdrivers and bits of wire. Oh, you name it. I would dig up my gums, because I had a thing called mesh mouth where I thought my gums were alive. I had animals living in them. So I would do, and he came in that night, and I looked, and I was in the back room, and I thought, why is he here? Who's let him in? And I remember him coming over to me and literally just saying to me, "What happened to you?" And that was it. That was that God-given moment. That was the gift of desperation had been given to me. I looked at him and I just, I always makes my hair stand on him, because it was that moment of, there was no judgment. There was no look at the state of you or any of that stuff. It was like, it was a God-given moment, because it changed my life forever. It was that moment.
His face as well, not just the work?
Yeah, it was everything. And I left that night, that club, crying. And I remember 2 days later, I went to see my GP, Paul, and he said, "Okay, I think there's a really good drug drop-in centre that you should go to,"
right?
Which was in City Road in Islington, and I started attending there, but you know, that wasn't enough, because I could not imagine a life without drugs. It was 28 years. It was my life. Everything I did was, you know, evolved by drugs. I didn't buy anything new because that was drug money. You know, and I was earning really good money, and then, but you know.
But what about people? Were you at that stage pretty well being disowned by a lot of people.
No, I disowned them.
Oh,
because what it is, they want you, they want you to be well. They want to tell you to stop. They want to do interventions. So what I did was push people away. I pushed people away. So I would argue with everyone. I would cause drama so that they didn't get in. They weren't obstacles to my music. And then what I would do was when because everyone at that point was doing drugs, but they weren't doing them to the extent that I was doing them.
Right.
That my addiction had such a grip on me. All I ever thought about was death. Every day I thought about dying. I didn't ever think about holidays or where we go.
But was it fear of dying or?
No, it was the next step. I'd got to the point where the only thing that I had next to do was to die. There was never any
obsess about who would cry over you?
Yeah. Every day. Every day I would play certain tunes at home and I would think, all right, I want this at my funeral. This is what I'm going to be carried into. This is what I'm going to be burned to. Who's coming to the funeral? Who I don't want at the funeral? And that was kind of all I ever thought of. Because getting clean was never an option, Trisha.
So you've got this addictive personality and you're in rehab and you've still got to go back into the same world where drugs are. No.
Not back. And, when I was in treatment, at the end of the treatment, they said to me, okay, you can't go back to DJing. You can't go back to London. I was in Bournemouth, which was like fucking hell. But, I always say to people, I don't know if it was the thought of ever having to go back to Bournemouth that keeps me clean. But, I was in Bournemouth and they said to me, you can't go back to that relationship. You can't go back to DJing. You can't go back to London. And I was like, well, I'm not going back to any of them. I'm going forward. I'm going forward to that. And I've always been that way. For me, going back's not an option.
Yeah.
It's always about today and tomorrow. It's not about that stuff. Although I talk about that stuff an awful lot, it doesn't define who I am today. Today defines who I am.
Yeah. But have you replaced one obsession with another? Do you think?
I've done that all my life, darling. If I have sushi on a Monday and it's amazing, I'll have sushi Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It will be in my mind. If I buy a pair of shoes or trainers, I have to have them in every colour.
Yeah.
And my partner's like, you don't need another pair of those. And I'm like, and then what I do with them is they go in the box, under the sofa, or under the bed, or to the storage unit.
Do you go through shopping frenzies? My daughter.
Always.
My daughter.
I stopped, obviously.
Frenzy 4.
Well, since lockdown, I've realised, I come to realise, it's taken to fucking lock me up to realise that how much I waste my money on stuff that I don't need.
Do you find it? Do you find it and not remember having bought it?
All the time.
I know.
All the time. I say to David, "Oh, I want this." He said, "You've got it." And I'm like, "Oh," and then we'll go to the storage units and we'll look, and there'll be like untold shoes, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I forgot about these."
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but I mean, the way things are today, like working and my career and the job that I do, I get sent an awful lot of stuff, which I always accept. But you know what? A lot of it, it's like, thank you. I'll do posts about it, whatever, and then it's all going to go to charity. It's all going to go to the charity sale because that's I don't want it, but I will accept it. But then we'll sell it on and give the money to charity because that's what it should be.
So what about, because I've got a daughter in recovery as well, and she asked me, Billy, who she's probably watching, my daughter Billy thinks you're amazing.
Hi.
Because of the recovery.
Yeah.
She asked me to ask you, what are your tips for being in recovery when you're in lockdown? How do you not
go insane?
Yeah.
Because for me, life, in lockdown is bad enough. I wouldn't want to make it any worse by drinking. I couldn't think of anything worse than taking drugs and being locked in my house. I did that for 28 years. Well, I'd say 15 of those 28 years I was locked in somewhere. And today, it's about self-care, it's about self-loving, and it's about literally knowing what makes Tony happy.
But do you have something you say? Do you talk to yourself, as it were?
What, like self-affirmations, you mean?
Yeah, or confirm.
Yeah, of course. But, for me, I have an understanding that I know drugs will ruin my life. And so for me, what I do is I work a 12-step program. I attend meetings online on Zoom. I take a meeting every day at 1 o'clock, every day 1 p.m.
Every single day you do.
Every single day, yeah.
That's what you need.
That's what I need, because you know what? Drink and drugs won't ruin me today. My behaviours will, and the way I treat people. And I'm at home with my partner and my dog, and my behaviours will go off key if I don't connect to the program, in the sense of listening to other addicts. The therapeutic value of one addict to another is unprecedented.
To say no.
You know, and I can hear what they're saying, and I think, oh my God, that's me. And that will, then I will take that on board and change to what I'm doing. Do you get what I mean?
You know
so
what?
for me, I have to connect.
I want to ask you as well, the therapeutic nature. But my daughter's got a little cat, and the therapy. You've got a lovely little dog. Just sometimes, just feeling the fur, and do you get that
100%,
from your dog?
It's all about connection.
Yeah,
100%. You know, for my dog, Taylor's 14 now, 13 and a half. And I got her just before I got clean as a guilt present for my ex-partner. And she's been through everything with me. And that dog knows every emotion, every feeling. You know, she feels it. And, you know, it doesn't. You know, sometimes I lie in bed and it might be my dog will be with us and David. And I just think, thank God, this doesn't get better than this.
Yeah.
And I could be, I go everywhere and do everything what I do for my career. But being in bed with my dog and my partner, just while they're asleep and I'm laying next to them, life doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, because did you find that for a hell of a long time, through all of your addictions and what have you, you almost didn't like physical contact, apart from maybe in a sexual nature? Do you not think?
Babe, I've run away from intimacy. Intimacy is the biggest problem for me when it comes to friends or whatever, to anyone, because I'd much rather. Yeah, well, it's just something that, you know, I've always suffered with since the abuse, I think, as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, so intimacy is opening up and, like, letting people in is a real problem. So what I'll do is I'll disguise that with humour. I'll disguise that by arguing with people. I will disguise, you know, I will be the loudest.
That's where we clicked. That's probably where we clicked.
Yeah.
That's probably where we clicked, somewhere along the line, I reckon.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a part of us that all you know, we just want to be loved. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you know, and when we go back to the dog thing and the cat thing, it's the unconditional love that you get from them.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to argue with you. They might give you a side eye glance every now and then, or just like roll their eyes. You know, they're not going to argue with you. They're not going to give you that, you know, you can't argue. Well, I can argue. I've had many an argument with the dog. But, you know, you can't. I have one every night because she tries to sleep on my pillows. For 14 years, she's been doing the same thing. And every night I have to say the same thing to her. Move now. And she won't move. And, and David, my partner, says, every night. And I'm like, well, you know, that's the
same argument. So, Tony, I've seen you DJing. You DJed for Victoria Beckham's party, doing it online.
Oh, don't start them off again about furloughing.
No, oh God, no, I'm not going to talk about that. No, I'm going to talk about, I mean, I've kept away from all the big names because everybody goes on about that, and I was more interested in finding out about you as the person. But I'm just talking about the DJing and everything else. Is it going to be almost weird going back to DJing with live people around you? It's going to be, there's no normal, is there?
Trisha, you know what, the other day, tomorrow night, there's a club called Glitterbox, and they're doing a virtual festival. And I've done a set for Glitter, because I work for Glitterbox, and I did a virtual set for them, which I recorded on Friday last week. And since I've been in lockdown, I've been doing like loads of like live streaming from my garden. I did one for Harvey Nichols, one for the Evening Standard, and one for Victoria Beckham's birthday. Yeah, and so I went GQ, but well, you know, and there's always people like, you know, I know that they're watching on Instagram, so while I'm doing it, so it's an audience. But the other day I had to record it, and then DJ to like fucking palm trees and yuccas in my garden, dad dancing. It's the most awkward thing in the world. And I did it on Friday. I filmed it on Friday, and all night I was like, I can't let that go out. It's awful. It's awful. So I got one of my assistants to listen to it, and he was like, he rang me the next day, was like, no, let's do it again. So we did it again on Monday. And it was much better, but you know, it's just like I don't get the connection. My job as a DJ is to read a crowd, to feel the energy, and to take that energy higher. And when you've got anyone watching you doing that, you can't ride off that. You can't connect. So it's really hard.
Yucca plants aren't good at feedback.
No, they're not. Especially when you've got someone sitting there reading the newspaper as well. But, you know, it's just like. But yeah, so the set's really good. You know, it's out tomorrow, but it's like it's really hard. So I can't wait to be in front of a live audience again. I love it. I love it. It's, you know, today the best drug and the biggest drug I've ever taken is music.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
Tony, I'm only going to say, because they probably, you know, after so long on Instagram Live, they cut you off, evil thing.
You get an hour.
You get an hour, do you?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you want to talk? If you could have one wish in the world, you could have anything. Everybody's saying how much they love your Insta, by the way.
Oh, thank you, guys.
That's one of
It's all stolen.
But you do credit, and it's having a live.
It's not all stolen. You know, it's we call it. You know, it's like a library. I collect it for years and stuff. You know, and post it when it's the right time to post it. I love Insta. I like making people laugh, as I always have done, and I love it when people tell me they like it as well. Because you know what, kind of. I get a lot of inbox messages from people that say, "Oh, so this has happened in my life, and the fact that you've gone through this and you laugh about it."
Exactly.
You know,
yeah,
it's important. I wonder if I could change one thing. What were you saying?
If you could have one wish in the world, anything you wanted. Oh,
that dogs could live forever.
Oh,
The dogs that they live like a good 10 years longer. That would be it for me, really. You know what? I've you know, without sounding corny, you know, I had nothing. I had nothing, Trisha. 13 years ago, I was homeless. I had no teeth. And today I have everything. Today I have freedom. I have I'm in a loving relationship. I have a beautiful dog. I have a beautiful house. I have everything. You know, I always tell this story. I used to like sleep rough outside Vogue house in London. Yeah. And the reason I used to sleep there when I got kicked out of home was they used to have a ashtray on the wall that had really good cigarette butts in it. So I would go there and take the cigarettes. And then,
do you think when you see homeless people, does it ever bring all of that? It must bring all of that back.
It does and it doesn't, because you know what? Kind of like if someone's homeless and they're genuinely homeless and they want help, then that's amazing. But you know, the majority of the homeless people. We live in Pimlico. There are a lot of people around here. There's so much homelessness around here. But it's drug dealing and drug taking on the streets. They don't want help. They want to get another hit. And that breaks my heart. But you know what? It's like you can't help them until they want help. You know, you can't. And, you know, going back to the Vogue story, I used to sleep there and, you know, and then, like suddenly I work for Vogue. You know what I mean? That's recovery. You know, it's like sleeping in the doorway and then now working for them. I do their music for their parties. I've done like loads of editorial for them.
Do you ever get starstruck though? Do you ever get starstruck?
Yeah.
Oh, go on. Who have you been starstruck about?
I think Donatella Versace was one of them. I mean, the first time I played for her, like a couple of years ago, I went over and I was in our house, and I was in there. I was just they cooked me food, and I was waiting for her to come, and they introduced me to her, and I was like, "Oh, hi." She was like, I said, "Oh, I'm so honoured to be in your house." And she was like, "Are you mad? I'm so honoured you're here." And I was like, "Oh, fuck off, Donatella. That's insane." And it was just like, and it was just, I was so starstruck by it because it was just like, I'm in Donatella Versace's house, you know.
Can't believe
but
it.
I don't take, you know what? I don't take anything for granted. I don't take, you know. I have a lot of friends that have careers that put them in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But they're my friends. They're my friends.
Yeah.
I'm not friends with them because of what their job they do. I'm friends with them because of what loving people they are.
But
and they've been lifetime friends.
One of the people you mentioned before, Boy George, I met him years ago. And I went up to him and I said, "Oh my God, Boy George!" I said, "I'd love your autograph." And he went, "Trisha, can I have your autograph?" And I was just like, "Oh, fuck off!"
But that's because George is like one of the most.
He's gorgeous.
Amazing, normal people. Normal was not the word I'd use for him. George is like everything to me. He's one of my, you know, if anything, he is my best friend. Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's one of my best friends in the whole world because if anything, he is my best friend in the whole world because whatever's going on for you, he'll be there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's so many certain people that people like to slag off in the media or slag. They don't really know what those people are like. they read shit from chapters that they know nothing on. And then they will keep using it and keep you know, come on guys, you can only shoot someone once with one bullet. You can't keep shooting them with the same bullet.
What's the stupidest?
George is amazing.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever read about yourself then?
Transvestite DJ. Oh, actually, no. I tell you what, the other week, the Daily Mail, veteran DJ. Fuck you. Fucking veteran newspaper. Do you know what I mean? Fucking bunch of cunts. Sorry, I said it. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, veteran DJ. It's like, oh, please. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're going to write about someone, be polite, for fuck's sake. You know,
polite?
Veteran, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
You're asking them to be polite, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Seriously. But yeah.
Tony, I have loved talking to you. When this is all over and either I'm in London or you're in New York.
I'm going to block you. For your comments. No, when we can fly next, let's definitely go out and do lunch.
Yeah, where? New York or London?
New York or London, either. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Either. For me, it's like, you know how much I love New York. But, yeah, wherever it's hot, let's do wherever it's hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wherever you can get.
You're looking good, girl. You're looking great.
So do you for a veteran.
A veteran, you know what I mean? What a bunch.
If you're a veteran, I'm an uber veteran.
Seriously, what they like, you know, it's like, they're being really polite and then they have to have a dig. It's like, oh, go away.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm proud of being 54. I never thought I'd make 27, let alone 54.
Yeah.
So, eat my ass.
Yeah. You're going to read that. You do realise.
Oh, you know, of course I am, yeah.
All right, lovely talking to you. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. See you soon, right? God bless. Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
How do I get out?